If you're offended, I'm just black, 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 black.
I'm just
That's something.
black. I'm just
Hey,
black.
hey.
That's
So what's
it.
up? I'm excited. I'm excited. Let me give you the proper introduction. Let me give you the proper one. Cause you do a lot of stuff, and I know you, but I gotta bring this in. First, welcome to World Stage Press. Arthur Reeds. I am your host, A Kold Piece of Work. The World Stage Press came into existence for the creation and proliferation of African American literature and beyond. We publish a book every third Wednesday of the month. We are here right now, the one and only. I bring you Kamari Hawkins. Kamari Carter Hawkins is the author of Death by Comb, a stellar body of poetry that seeks to normalize natural hair and find solid ground in ever-changing world and write back to you. A guided journal for writing yourself back into your life. Kamari leads journaling workshops all across Los Angeles and beyond. Her poetic works can also be found in Rise, an anthology of power and unity by Vagabond Press, and the Best of the Poetry Salon 2013 to 2018 anthology. Kamari is a 2018 spoken word Voices Her amateur slam winner and performs her work nationally. Kamari is also the founder of Mama Kitchen's Press, an anthology press that seeks to publish moments and stories that we've shared in our mama's kitchen. Now, some folks call her Kamari. Some folks call her um, um, she's the book doula. I'm just gonna put it like that. Let me turn my light on. It's bright though. Let me bring my light down a little bit. All right. So I call her the book doula. If y'all don't know who she is, she was the founding manager of the World Stage Press. She helped birth my book baby and many others. And so I'm excited to have her here. Normally she's on the other end interviewing, but now she's in the seat. And so I'm happy to have you. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Kamari,
Well,
as I sip on my red cup.
Hey, I got a purple one though. So
We in the game.
we in the game. I think you said a lot. I think you said a lot about, I'm just a simple girl, born and raised South Central LA, East Side. For all
East side.
y'all don't know, represent the East Side. And I'm just, a poet, a writer, and I try to do as many things literary as I can. If not, like my other passions, I love, social justice, that kind of stuff, natural hair, gardening now. So I'm just, I'm an everyday girl, just out here trying to live.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. So I'm gonna get right into it. Y'all that are viewing, you can ask questions. You can send questions through. I'm going to pin where you can get both of her books because she out here selling these books out the trunk. Support the local artists, especially right now, because we're not really working that much. But ask these questions, support. So I'm gonna get right into it. When did you fall in love with poetry?
Oh my gosh. So, poetry versus writing. So I fell in love with poetry, like in love was around like 18-ish years old when a good friend of mine gave me a DVD set of Deaf Poetry Jam, Deaf Poetry. So, and I used to watch that like over, go to sleep to it. It was the DVD set, and I didn't keep it, but it was DVDs, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't really keep them like that. But I think watching that and seeing a different style, seeing the East Coast style, like, that's when I, like, really fell in love with it. But I was, like, introduced to it at different ages, but that's really when I fell in love with it.
Okay.
At your age.
Okay. I still got my DVDs. They're in my mom's garage right now, and that's the only reason why I got them, because they in her garage. I helped her clean out her garage and then came across the DVDs. So
yeah, we ain't getting rid of those.
No. That's like I was in love with poetry before then, but I was like, we made it. Poetry is on the main stage. We made it.
Yes.
And so, all right. So I'm gonna ask you one more question and then give me some poems. What has poetry done for you?
Poetry, actually, I feel like poetry and definitely writing and journaling writing liberated me. I think it also was a great communicator for me. I'm because like sometimes I stutter. Like when I get really excited, my brain's like ding, 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 and my mouth can't catch up, so I'll stutter.
Okay.
And because of that, like I can't like I don't know verbalize right off the top, even though I'm thinking it right. So I feel like poetry serves as a greater tool for me to communicate and
Okay.
really get out of my mind like what is really going on. It's a great tool for like expression. So that's why that's what poetry does for me. It's like a great communicator for me. But
Okay.
it also poetry really like took me around the world. I would say, well, maybe not the world, but definitely around some places I wouldn't have otherwise. Like one of the biggest poetry jobs I had was going back to my alma mater just to read poems. And they paid me for it. They flew me out, hotel, car. I was like, oh, this is what poetry can do?
That's what's up.
Oh, wait, and even just being able for people to just want to hear from me, I just feel like it put me in front of people that I probably wouldn't have otherwise. So that's really what poetry has done for me. It's like, it's like a ticket around so many places that I wouldn't have otherwise.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. I'm gonna get into. Someone asked you a question. Where do you see you as an artist in 5 years? A poet named Evocative asked you that.
Hey, Evocative. That's the homie. Where do you see yourself as an artist 5 years from now? Oh my God. Wait a minute. What is 5 years? Okay, I'll be how old? Okay. I would think that I'm still writing. I hope that I would have at least 2 more books out. I'm still trying to work on this novel, and then I have like a collection of poems that I'm just like throwing in there, but it has no like specific order. But not obviously, that's not good. What I'm trying to say is like I'm hoping that I'm still writing, I'm still creating. I don't think that will ever leave me. So that's where I see myself in 5 years. Still out here writing books.
Okay. Let's get into some poems.
Oh wow. Okay. How do I want to start off? I don't know. New, old. How many poems do you want me to share right now?
You can do 2 right now.
Okay, I'm gonna do 2 short ones.
Okay.
I'm gonna do this one. It's called Earrings. My mother gifted me a pair of earrings. 10 whips dangle from each loop, remind me of where I come from, my newfound dominion over them. Watch how I show off this sadistic glory, remind you of why I'm so proud today. Wearing whips on my ears and not on my back, taking your disciplining tool, subservient correction, dehumanizing weapon as fashion statement to how you will never bend me over again. This is my declaration to never be slave again. This is my trophy, my standing ovation, my libation for the tribes of my people fallen at the hands of these earrings. I am a walking memoriam. Stand in honor of them. So that's one. And I'll share a short one. I just wrote this one. And I really want to share it. Not like just, I'd be like, I just wrote this 15 minutes ago. 15 minutes ago. But when I say like just, like poetry has been kind of dry. The well has been dry. So like just as in like during the quarantine.
Okay.
So here it is. I have a degree in Marie Kondo. I've been Marie Kondoing my space since the quarantine began. I've watched the entire season from newlyweds, empty nesters, and all else in between. I know how to fold socks and panties in perfect squares. I know what to discard, what to donate, what to hang, what to store. Even after all that arranging, for the life of me, I don't know where to put this rage.
That's true. Look, you did something good because you wrote in the quarantine. I ain't been able to write anything. Like I start off with one good opening line, and then it's a string of cuss words as a rant. So it's just like my writing is all like I'm putting together cuss words like I got a cussology degree. from MFU. So
right, from right. For real, I feel that too. It's been really, really a challenge writing poetry. Wrote a couple of ones during like this event, Poets Respond. So that really kind of pushed me and helped me to use using prompts. So
okay.
yeah. Oh, where's the lighter? I know my lighter is over there. I didn't know if I could like light myself. Like, how do you know? Get my own fire.
I'll get a lighter for you. I'll have it ready. So let's talk about this. I opened up the interview with Hella Black by Toby Nwigwe. He's a American-born rapper from Nigerian parents, based out of Houston, Texas. Actually from the SWAT, Southwest A-Leaf, Texas. It's just like he says, my hair is kinky, my nose is wide, my skin is technicolor. It ain't my fault if you're offended. I'm just hella black. In this time right now, has your blackness raised or heightened or illuminated during this time that we're in right now?
No, I feel like I've been black. You
Okay.
know, I feel like maybe I will say increased, but I feel like maybe it's just a bigger magnifying glass that's shown right now. But like you've been following me for a while, like the name of my book is Death by Comb. I got the natural hair out. Like when I was working at a law firm, like I did the whole wig thing for a little bit. Like you stair step yourself into the natural. So when you get a new job as a black woman, you come in with like a straight wig. Then you do like the loose wavy. Then you do the curly. Then you do maybe some braids. And then you start like inching it. And then once my afro was out, I was done.
Okay.
Done, you know, and so, but besides that, hella black, like I try, like it hasn't always been like this, but I try to be most authentic to myself as possible, which is, you know, a black woman. And what I say is increased now. No, but I would say my content has changed. Like I was doing like more mental health stuff for like women and men, like, you know, mental health, journaling, writing, which plays a very, you know, a big role in, you know, our community. But I would say like maybe my content has been a little bit more militant lately because I feel like it needs it. It's like, okay, you know what? Let me pause the sweet stuff for a little bit and just say some truth, you know?
Okay. I feel you. Like a lot of people, like I've been seeing stuff where it seems like they have been like heightened aware, but when you've been walking in this skin and consciously aware of how our people have been treated, like I'm just happy to see. One thing I can say though is and I feel bad about this as a man, we haven't, as men, haven't mentioned Breonna Taylor's name enough. Like a lot of people be like, why George Floyd murder? Actually, it was like 3 or 4 murders that kicked off this whole thing. And so she was in her own home, in her bed. And so like we need to start mentioning our black women names. We need to start protecting our black women more. Because I watched a video today. Godfrey said the black woman is the most disrespected person on the planet. And I agree. And we have to start uplifting because we're raising daughters and we're raising these girls into women and we can't show them that. So we have to show them something different. And that's what I appreciate about you. And all the black women I know are doing those type of things. I have a question from Truth Poetic. He says, as a book doula, do you draw inspiration from other presses? Grey Wolf, Northwestern, etc.
Only for designs.
Okay.
Because I feel like I can spot the difference between like a self-published book versus like published. It's that curly font, or if you on the front like this. I can't stand that. Let's stop that. Please, just stop. Okay. Anyway. So I do draw inspiration, like design-wise. I feel like it's cutting edge, especially have like a larger budget to afford, you know, cutting-edge designers. So I look at them for designs. I look at them for like how they lay out the interior, maybe the content, but not so much because unless it's like it's hard for Black people to get published like that. So I try to like give my attention mostly to see like what are your designs doing? Okay, that's dope. How can I, draw inspiration from that? But that's the only thing. Mostly designs.
Okay, so I have a question. Do you have any hidden talents?
Yes. I mean, not really. I put them all out there. Hidden. Maybe like painting nails is
Okay,
like a hidden talent. People like, oh, you went to the nail shop during quarantine? No, no,
okay,
I didn't. So
okay,
that's a hidden talent.
okay,
Playing piano. I haven't in a while, but like I was like a pro at it. Like
hmm
not playing, but like I went to like a competition. I was in the part of the NAACP AXO, flew out to
okay.
Philadelphia, competed. I lost, but I didn't care. I felt like I won. Like y'all paying for me to fly? Like
All
for me to
right,
play? And
that's what's
I'm
up.
easy to please. Like, I'm easy going, so it's just
That's what's up.
those are the
C4 said
moments.
you can dance.
Who?
C4 said she can
Oh
dance.
yeah, I can. I used to be a part of a step dance group in college for 4 years.
Okay,
So yeah, I can dance, choreograph,
okay,
choreograph.
okay. All right. So a lot of people may not know this as a hidden talent. I've been seeing you post a couple things. You've been freestyling.
Oh, that was bad. That okay.
So I'm just gonna put it out there. Can you kick a freestyle about this quarantine or about this Black Lives Matter right now?
Yo, I ain't about to embarrass myself. Listen, okay, I was doing a freestyle series called Rap Therapy because I was talking about my therapy journey. Started going to therapy, and it's kind of taboo to talk about. So in
Mm-hmm.
order way to kind of like get eyes on it and be like funny, I was like, let me freestyle, but it was terrible. It was terrible. Okay, it didn't
Hey,
get the
I
views.
seen it, so I was just like, I'm gonna just ask to see if I can get her to bust one.
I ain't about to
So
play myself. Cause you be posting these on the page. I'm not about to play myself because these not gonna disappear. Maybe if this would disappear, I would, but I'm about to play myself.
I got you. I got you. I got you. So let me hear some more poems.
Oh my god. Okay. Let me get this long poem in.
Okay.
Not for real. Let me not even say that. I don't have many long poems. I'm trying to like perfect the short, knockout poems. But this is like my own. Okay, here we go. Questions for the women who drove 6 adopted Black children off a cliff. Why did you adopt Devontae, Hannah, Sierra, Marquise, Abigail, and Jeremiah just to drive them off a cliff? What did it mean to add 6 threads of chestnut, bronze, amber, ginger, cinnamon, and russet to your blanched linen? Was it your goal to stitch shreds of their skin into your life so you'd have more color? Didn't you live in rainy Oregon and on sunny days kept them inside? Did you not know that melanin, the golden graffiti etched in mastery in our skin, needs sun too? Was it your experiment to see if they melt and fade into a taste more palatable? Haven't you heard that our gold is just absorbed sun? Didn't you know that's why Black children are just a tad more energetic than others? How come you didn't know that trapped energy will burst out of any confinement if it has to? Did that become too much for you? I heard little Hannah went to the neighbor's house begging for food. Did you forget to feed her? Them? I heard you had a garden. What did you cook for them? Did you give them organic collard greens? Did you make them right with neck bone, vinegar, and worship like their grandma made? Did you take them from her? Did DPSS make it easy for you? Why did you need 6 Black children? Were there not enough of yours? What message were you sending to your friends? Was this something you boasted about beaming over wine and cheese or gleamed to your church in a display of serving your Savior, being a Savior? I heard you homeschooled them. What did you teach them? How did you celebrate Black History Month? Did you? Did you dig deep past the second Google search page to find the unsung heroes? Did you tell them about slavery, life before slavery? If so, how did they respond? Did they have a moment of resentment towards you? All Black kids do when they first hear about slavery. So come on, tell me, did they resent you? Did you respond or stand in silence in efforts to salvage your white fragility? What did you tell them? Did you tell them about Minnesota, about your domestic abuse case? Did you tell them that you pled guilty and the case was still dismissed? Did you tell them about privilege, white privilege, white police privilege. On the day Devontae embraced that officer, did you wonder if the tears cascading down the pyramids of his cheeks were to build a bridge or a cry for help to cross it away from you? You ever ask him why he was crying or left him alone to wipe the war off his face? What did you do? Did you say anything? What did you tell them as you were driving off the cliff? Did you tell them you love them? Or did you yell obscenities before their flesh broke into glitter across the ocean rocks? Did you have a confessional? Lay your sin down at their feet? As your wheels left gravel to take a chance at flight, did you look at their faces? Were they asleep, awake, half plunged, or screaming all the way? Did that turn you on? Did you orgasm on the way down? I want to know, what did you say in that van? Did you howl in regret, apologize to them, to God, your emulation? Did you know that the news reporters are saying they can't find tire or brake marks? Did you know that they're saying it may not have been intentional? Did you know that your white privilege is so strong that it is working for you beyond your death, your homicide?
Every time I hear that poem, it's just like those children. When he reached out for that to hug that officer, he was like asking for help. He wasn't like, this is a moment where black kids love white cops. He was like, nah, they trying to kill me.
Yeah, literally.
And so it's just crazy at that. And so thank you for that. I appreciate that, because
what's crazy, if I could say about that, two things. One, I remember were you interviewing Kwame? You were interviewing somebody. You was like, don't talk before your poems. Don't give no information. And so this was a poem I always like tried to inform people, because I was like, this happened. But I was like, what if I played with like the title of the piece as an informational thing? So you inspired that. So thank you.
Oh, no problem.
I hope it was informational enough, because it's so important that I don't want nobody to be like, who's she talking about? You know?
Well, even in that, like I say, don't go into the piece and explaining the poem, because it gives the opportunity for the listener to come up and create dialogue with you, to ask you those questions. And then sometimes we do too much with the explaining. Sometimes the explanation is better than the poem. And so let the poem speak for itself.
Yeah.
And so like those type, like I have so many poems like that I haven't finished because I get angry, I get mad, and I just start, like I said, it's a cussing rant, because I don't know how to put that into or articulate it after so long, because it's been so many years of like I started a poem and it says white supremacy has been the asthma to the black community forever. And so they've been constricting and swelling our lungs and airways forever. And then after that, it's just a bunch of cuss words. So it's just like sometimes, right. So sometimes you just have to like let it sit for a little while and then work on it and grow.
Yeah, this one was a work in progress. When I first actually started off, when I found out that it happened, it was in 2018, actually, March 28th. And I was just crying at the computer, and I just like wrote these questions, did this, but it evolved over time. And the second thing I want to say about this, I feel like I need to change it. I'm gonna be short, because I know we got like a little bit left. I was doing more research about it today, and they finally ruled it as like a murder-suicide. They gave the kids basically like Benadryl. The driver was like drunk, and it was just like, you wanted to do that.
Right. It was plotted. Like
all the kids had Benadryl. All of them ain't sick. They ain't got allergies. But you know, it's sick. It's sickening. I read it, and they have like a documentary coming out. It's already out on Amazon. It's just sick, and I'm like, I don't even know. I'm like well enough to even like watch that right now, but I feel like I need to make my piece like more accurate. So I'm gonna watch it just to like use it, draw information from it.
Okay. Kwame says, what are some of the influences of your on your writing or performances that fans wouldn't expect?
Wouldn't expect. Child, I don't know. I write a lot about honestly, I write a lot about kids. Kids just, I don't know, Kids and Justice, it just, I would say that stirs me. So I write a lot of witness poetry, not so much about myself. I struggle to write kind of like those like empowerment, like self pieces. That rarely comes from me. I really am like more of a witness or like a voice for those that are voiceless. So maybe that I draw influences from, I don't know, nature. So that's kind of, I don't know.
Okay.
Nature.
So I know you are a phenomenal photographer. I've been privy to be captured by you a few times. And so do you take your pictures like you approach your poems?
Good question. I do now. In the beginning, as amateur photographers, they take too many pictures, right? After like, and it's kind of like amateur poet, like you just kind of like word vomit, I should say. So like after now, I approach it with, is this something that I would print? Is this something that like evokes some kind of emotion or storytelling? So yeah, in the same way, poetry, like, is this something that I really want to pass down? Now there's some stuff, you got like playground. I have a journal, I call it like playground poetry, where I just like throw anything to the wall and it ain't good, but you gotta like play. But I think in terms of like approaching it to where like now I want to make this something, then I approach it as like, is this something I want to pass down?
Okay. So another question: what do you owe poetry?
My consistency.
Give me some more with that.
Like, okay, what? I owe it because it gave so much to me and it serves me in such a big way. I feel like I owe it consistency, whereas like I need to show up daily, or at least like, Monday, Wednesday, Friday I'm writing poetry, or in the morning for 30 minutes, or I owe it some kind of like routine and consistency, and as opposed to leaning on inspiration. I feel like that's kind of like amateur as well. Like that's something you do in the beginning, like, I only write when I feel like it, or when the emotions hit, or when this, like, okay, I feel that's important. But I feel like when you give it consistency, when an inspiration hit, you're not like, it's not a block. Like, oh, I don't know. It just like comes, right? So I think sometimes maybe, yeah, that's basically what I want to say. Like, I owe it my consistency, like a set days and time I write.
Okay. So C4 asks, what would you say your poetry has too much of and too little of?
Sometimes too many words. I would say my poetry too little. I don't think I have enough poetry. As much as I think about things, I'm always thinking. I'm never not thinking. I feel like I feel like it has too little writing. Maybe too little. I would say too much sad. I write only sad poems. I'm a sad poet. Like, I'm energetic and I'm like, woo, this, but my poems be sad AF. You know what I mean? So I think I have too much sad. I would really like to have more happy, inspirational poems that you would pull to and like, damn, I want some inspiration. I want something that's gonna lift me up. Like, I feel like that's how Maya is. Like, they go to her when they want to be lifted up, and then they go, to Nikki Giovanni when you want to, like, bam, you go to here. You know what I mean? Like, I need more of a distinct voice. Like, okay, I come to Kamari poetry when I want, boom. You know what I mean? So
Okay, I have a question by a poet named Evocative. As a black woman poet, how do you navigate male dominant spaces?
in just any kind of space, or just like maybe I'm gonna assume like open mics. That was a firework, y'all. South Central. Every night in the helicopter, every night.
Hey.
Okay, whatever. How do I navigate? That's a good question. I feel like I deal with that. Oh, I don't want to out nobody. Ooh, help me, Lord. I would say I try to just speak up for myself. Sometimes male poets, they got their braggadocious on there, and it's cool. Be masculine, be whatever you want to be, but just respect me when I come up in here that I got something to say. It ain't emotional. It ain't. And if it is, emotions are necessary, or else we wouldn't have them. So I feel like I navigate an open mic space. Sometimes I get nervous, like if it's like a lot of dudes on the mic and they all have this same like, boom, boom. I feel like it's like soft. I just try to remind myself that like my voice is necessary. And it ain't for these other open micers. It's for the people in the audience. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
People that really ain't poets that just can't listen. So I just try to still be my authentic self and try not to let it make me feel less than. You know what I mean? That's a good question, though.
Okay. And then before I get you into another question, in this period of unrest, because it's not a riot, it's unrest. What do you feel poets should be doing?
I remember when I asked Jaha this question, but it was different. But I was like, what is the job of the poet during this time? And she was like, stay alive, stay the fuck alive, basically. And I was like, yes. So like, it's a bunch of them. Stay alive, number one.
Mm-hmm.
Take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like the poems are gonna be there, but if your mental health ain't there, your self-care ain't there, you ain't eating right, you ain't sleeping because all this. Listen, racism cannot be dismantled in a day because it's been going on for centuries. So
Right.
take your ass to sleep, lay down. You know what I'm saying? Number one, take care
Okay.
of you. Second, once you rested and you feel like you can process things, like you
Mm-hmm.
feel like be quiet for a little bit. But also just write it out personally and edit it and join writing groups. There's a bunch of writing groups going on to help you kind of get your thoughts out. And then like when it's ready, share it. We need more like POC voices right now. Black people, we need more voices. So right now, like I said, rest, take care of yourself, eat good, write and then share when you're feeling good.
Okay. I totally agree. Because if you ain't
Stay alive.
sleeping, you're not really writing. And whatever you're writing, you shouldn't be sharing
That's
if you
true.
ain't sleeping.
Because you're not thinking clearly. You just
Right.
exhausted.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me hear some more poems. First, before you do that, all right. In Death by Comb, how many pages do you have in that book?
Oh, God. Now, let me tell you, the whole time I was worried, I wasn't worried about nothing else except this random thing. All right. Well, okay, how many books are poem? How many pages total?
How many pages do you have in that book?
124.
All right, let me hear a page. Let me hear what's on page 43.
Okay. Oh,
I
wow.
got to give you a random.
This is so I never read this piece. It's not even, it's like kind of like, it's like short. Okay, here we go. It's called Haunted Nursery Rhyme. Y'all, okay. 1 kick, 2 kick, 3 kick, floor. Mama grabs her belly to protect from more. 1 punch, 2 grabs, 3 slaps, run. Mama grabs big sister, runs from the gun. Out the door, down the steps, on the grass, now. There's a crowd forming. Heard the screams get loud. Get in the car, get in the car, get in the car, hide. The neighbor tries to protect us. We didn't go for a ride. Get out of the car, get out of the car, get out of the car, bitch. Mommy's boyfriend yells, but mommy didn't flinch. Soon she got out and went with him. I was all alone. Would mommy come back? Would a baby be in the belly? I sat on the steps and cried. The night grew dark. Day came back. My fears quieted a little. But he never left. I prayed he would. His presence still haunts me. True story.
Wow. And that's why I do random stuff, because every time I've asked for a page, people be like, oh, I've never read that poem before. That's why it happens.
I love it.
So, because your significant other is a writer, he was a poet first. Do you ever feel like I know with me, I have a healthy competition with my wife.
I would say it's healthy. Y'all just be competing all the time. It ain't, just take that word healthy out. Y'all just competitors.
But it's just like, do you feel like he inspires you to write? Because I've seen you post like he been working on this same song for weeks.
Child. This man be working on the same song for months. I'll be like, you still on that? So he will dissect the song from anything. We're not competitive like y'all, but he does inspire me when just by him being himself, just by him
Mm-hmm.
writing, just by him, you know, he doesn't do poetry much at all. He mostly does songwriting, but I think his work ethic is what challenges me. I'm like, damn, like I'm over here playing Candy Crush. This dude, you know, all day though, all day. He only get up to eat, and I'll be like, I try to like, you know, curb my enthusiasm, but I'll be like, bro, can you go outside and get some sun? You ain't been outside. But basically, that just shows, you know, although it be getting on my nerves sometimes, that it just shows his love for it. How do you love your writing or your art so much to where you could be there all day, 8 hours, and only get up to pee?
Right.
And eat.
Right. So it's funny because mine just says she's better than me. I mean, it's good she feel that way. It's good she feel that way. But with her, like she does like crazy research. Like she'll research for months before she starts writing the poem. And I'm like, it ain't that much knowledge. Like you done got a whole notebook of just research.
Oh, so y'all mean.
For me, it's just like I don't have the patience to read, reread, check, fact check the read, and then make sure it's coming from a credible source. And I know that sounds terrible. I do it to a certain degree, but not as thorough as like she should have been a librarian because you know they're researchers. And so that like it's that type of energy, even though she don't want these bars. You know what I'm saying? Because this husband and wife battle league is still going to happen and she's scared. But what's your favorite quote?
Of like anybody?
Anybody.
Favorite? Let me see. I got a quote wrong right here. I don't have a favorite, but I would say one that is a favorite as of now. Oh my God. Two of them. I just got to read two.
Okay.
Short. One is by Ya Santiwa. She said, "There is enough soil," and I took it as like there's room for all of us. There's enough soil. That's just enough. And then the second one is you have the autonomy to rearrange. That's also not sassy, but basically I took that as like I have the autonomy to rearrange what I don't like in my life or about myself or about whatever. I have the autonomy to rearrange.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Ya Santiwa has her quote is similar to Kamal Daoud. He says, "It's enough room for everybody to shine."
Yes.
And so it's just like my lane is my lane. Yes. And so just because I step into your lane, it's still not my lane. Like it's yours, and I veered over a little bit. Yeah. And so we have enough room for everybody to shine, and that's how I feel. Yes. So let me ask you this question because you are a CLI 2-year alumni. Like you did it twice.
No, I did it 4 times. I'm done with a T on the end. I'm done 4 times. 2 times for poetry. No, 5. 2 for poetry. 1 for
and the high class
the extension.
Yes.
And then 2 for fiction. I'm all crispy. I'm done.
So how have CLI benefited you?
Sorry, I was scrolling. I was looking at this one question I want to answer. C-Phone asked me about what I think about Alicia Keys. Okay. What do I think? What has it done for me? It brought me community. I wouldn't have never met as many people as I have. Well, I can't say that. Well, I don't know. You know, who knows, right? Right. I think that I attribute it to the people that I know. The first year I did it really, really sucked, but because I was like super, super raw on my poetry, and like I was in the class with heavy hitters, C-Phone, Angela Franklin, Angela Aguirre. Shoot, I was in there with heavy hitters, and I was the weakest link. And so I hated it because I felt like Hiram didn't like my poetry, and it sucks when like, you know, Hiram, like, you know when he likes somebody, when he doesn't. Right. And so not that I needed that, but like he wants to feel like you showing up and it's like he talking bad or, you know, whatever, like, you know. But I attribute it to like that year probably the most growth because of who was in the class. Okay. I worked my butt off. To really grow. So I would say that year attributed to me for growth. The second year maybe more community. And in the fiction classes, that was another one I kicked my butt because I didn't know fiction was nothing. So yeah, so growth and community.
Okay. And so before I let you get into some more poetry, who are some poets that have influenced you, past and present?
Dennis Cruz is my favorite poet, Latino poet. Latino
He
poet.
wrote,
Oh
he
man.
wrote a blurb, didn't he? Or he did the.
Yes. He did my. Sorry, I'm like screaming. Yes. No. He did a blurb and he did a foreword.
Mm-hmm.
Or a word, right? A
Mm-hmm.
review. Oh my God. Like, I learned so much from that dude. He don't even know. Well, he does know, but I'm like, minor stalker. No, I'm kidding. No, but one thing that I love that he taught me, the best thing I heard him say, I had asked him about like, like kind of like writing and like, what if you write like a sad poem,
Mm-hmm.
but you review it on the day you're happy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you're looking at it like, I'm just this. So one thing he said is like basically you just edit for clarity. You don't edit the emotion because it was valid to where it was. Then you don't edit the feeling, but you edit for clarity. Like, oh, I could have expounded here. I could have did this. So like Dennis Cruz, like definitely hands down like one of my faves.
Okay.
And then all the poets that I know, sharpen me, iron sharpen iron.
That's what's up. All right, so let me hear some more poems.
Okay. And I want to answer that question about Alicia Keys. And then any more questions, I promise I'll answer them real fast. Okay, let me see. Any requests? Okay, let me see. I got like a nice soft poem. I got this one, the more social justice poem. I got.
Let me hear the social justice.
What? Okay, it ain't social justice. It's kind of like, I don't know. Whatever. It's called Black Jesus. Here we go. If you can't look in the mirror and imagine God looking like you, Black child, something is wrong. The first physical resemblance of who you presume your God to be will be your reverential fear, your praise recipient, your idol to which you bow. Let it be a sin to bow in false humility instead of keeping my chin parallel to the ground I make my footstool. Let it be a sin to greet people of other races with greater respect than I give my own. If anything should be a sin, let it be the progression of hate in this country that has formed mindsets, trained eyes, equipped children to pick over crisp browns and for broken pinks, chipped reds, and snapped yellows in a Crayola box. Let it be a sin if this does not bother you. If you are comfortable knowing that I will get paid less with more qualifications and experiences than someone unblack, unbrown, unright, unmarginalized, ungentrified, without any merit. Let anyone be cast in hell who believes Sandra Bland deserved it, or anyone sacrificed at the hands of police. Let anyone who turns the channel, shuts an eye, turns a head away from, or changes the topic on how unbalanced, unrighteous, and unholy this nation is towards Black and brown people, be judged by the Black Jesus I pray to every day. Jesus Black, man.
Right.
All right. So
Right.
One.
So let me ask you this one question before we run out of time. Because you are a wonderful host. I have seen you grow in your hosting and you are great in it. If you were bringing out you, how would you do it and what would you say?
How would I do it and what would I say? Oh, let me see. I don't want this to end. Why it go so fast? I'm mad. All right, here we go.
We can click back on. It's us. We can click it back on.
I want to click back on.
Okay, we can do that.
For real. I mean, I don't know. If people they got lives. All right. So if
it's a quarantine, where they going?
Where they going?
The club ain't open.
Nowhere. All right. So if I was getting introduced, first I would have to play some Sierra. I love Sierra. Hate me. And I'll be like, oh, everybody stand up on your feet. Everybody get up on your feet right now. Everybody start dancing. Boom, boom. And then I come out with this like, and I'll be like, bam, I just start twerking. And I'm like, welcome to the stage. Just welcome to the stage. That's it. I don't know.
I didn't expect none of that.
I just like to get people excited, really.
So So read some more poems and then we'll click back on for like another 10, 15 minutes.
Okay, that's cool. Because I want to answer the rest of the questions.
Okay.
Let me see what's in Death by Calm. Give me another random number.
73.
Give me another random number.
115.
No, this one's sad.
What? 115.
It's sad. I was contemplating something.
Mm.
I'll read it. It's short. It's easy. 10th floor of a Houston hotel. Veins quiver. Muscles prepare for flight. A simple move to the ground floor calls me. My mind pressuring me. Gently persuading. It's easy. Just jump.
Okay.
I was contemplating suicide that day.
I've been there.
I was heavy. Death by Calm.
I've been there. So let me ask you this, because you teach workshops. Mm-hmm. I teach poetry for a living. My favorite writing prompt to do, depending on where it is, because I teach workshops from 5 to 105. That's the age range. And so I always ask my students, if you were in a room full of elders and you had free reign to say whatever you wanted to say to them, what would you say?
I'm always in the room for the elders. I live with my grandma. So.
No, I'm just saying, like, that's one of my favorite questions. What is one of your favorite writing prompts you give?
Oh, what is one of my favorite writing prompts? Oh, my God. So many. I can't even choose one. I can't. It's impossible. Maybe one of them, I love, oh, my God, it's too many. I love, don't make me do this. Well, one of them is it's a permission prompt. So I give everyone permission to give themselves permission. So it's like, right, I give myself permission to do this. I give myself permission to do this. Another one I love is just a simple, who are you? Especially for women, because women always say, oh, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I work here, I do this. And at the end, and I do nails, I play piano, and I write poems, right? Mm-hmm. So women always say who they are in terms of like what they serve first. I'm a mom, I'm a this, and even like on bios, Instagram bios, oh, wifey, and I'm like, who are you before the kids? Who are you before the husband? Who are you? You know, and so that one always is like boom, because they're like, who am I? Because that's what's up. Servitude, you know what I'm saying? So that's another favorite one I like to do with women.
Okay, so let me ask you this: if you were a battle rapper, what would your battle rap name be? Think about it.
No, William gives me this one. He calls me Thick Poet 87. So that's
it. Shout out to my bro. That's hilarious.
Thick Poet 87.
So C4 said he wanted to hear TV hair versus my hair. I say answer the Alicia Keys questions first.
Okay.
And then we'll come back, and then we can do some more poems. Are y'all gonna come back though? If we come back,
yes, come back, y'all. Okay, drop a fire emoji if you're gonna come back. We need at least 5. Right. At least 5 fire emojis. So, okay, he said, what did I think about Alicia Keys' like natural beauty movement? I'm never gonna disrespect a sister. You know, I will say I love it because it's necessary, and I think it's bold. It's bold to be around everybody. Like all you do is makeup all day, every day for photo shoots. And you're like, I ain't having that, right? So I want to just say I give her props for doing that, for starting it, and for keeping it up. I was like, how long you gonna keep this up? Because makeup is fun, you know what I mean? But I would just say it's cool. But I know a lot of people was like, well, it's easy for you to do it because you're already beautiful. So I think that's hate language. Like, okay, whatever. What do you expect her to do? We ain't never pleased. We ain't never pleased with people when they try. She could try to, do this thing and you hate her. And then what if she kept doing makeup and all this and you hate her? So we ain't never pleased. Okay, we got 5 hearts though, not hearts,
Yeah.
fires.
We got 5 fires. That's what's up. That's what's up.
Well, maybe we should come hang up and then come back and then do the TV here.
That's exactly what I'm gonna do right now. So we'll be back in a few seconds.